How are you? It is Coach Ken. I want to welcome you to the live today. Hope y'all are having an awesome day. Thinking about a good question to get things started with. We made it to Tuesday now, so let's do a poll question to see how things are going. We're going to throw up. I'll tell you what. Let's do. I'm going to go with sugar. Favorite sugar snack. And if I don't put it up here, you can definitely put in here. I'm going to start with some that I know. Let's go ice cream. You'll be surprised. Here in Alaska, per capita, we eat more ice cream here than anywhere else. All right, we got cookies. All right. All right. Let's do cake. And let's do candy bar. I'm sorry, guys. My throat's a little tired. We'll get that started up there. Start that poll as you're coming in. How are you guys doing? Those of y'all that were not here, you guys missed a great call earlier today. Megan Hemphill was on, and you're going to check out that recording on sugar addiction and food addiction. Holy cow, that was an amazing call. I learned so much. I'm actually going to do it again tomorrow. So those of y'all that want to, if you missed it, you can definitely get the recording, but it will be on tomorrow as well. Guys, how are you doing today? It is Tuesday morning, and we've got a crap ton of snow. I'm going to be snow blowing here in a little bit. Got to clear the driveway. Got to clear the deck. We got to get that done. So how are you guys doing today? Hope you guys are having an awesome one as we start the week. If you missed the call that we just did, it was pretty dang awesome. Megan just went into so much. I have a lot to learn. The food addiction, sugar addiction has been in my family. So that was huge to learn everything about that. And like I said, tomorrow I'm going to be more attentive to taking notes and learning from her. So I'm so sorry. But what are some of your favorite sugar snacks as we get ready to start our sugar detox this next week on February 1? Start thinking about what are some of your favorite sugar snacks. I'm really excited. We're going to be doing 14 days just because it's a good way to do it. But this is the book that we're going to be, this one. And we've got some recipes as well that are sugar-free recipe books that we do. But to address the issue of sugar addiction, so I want to just start to think about what is candy bar. Candy bar is a favorite. All right, we already got one vote in the house. What is your favorite sugar snack? All right, Space Boy, how are you? Good to see you this morning. Glad that you're here today. So yeah, those favorite snacks. I will tell you, I don't even know where mine fits on here. I just had to pick 4. Skittles was always my favorite. Skittles is the one, it's like the worst candy in the world. If you go online and like Google or do AI, it's terrible. It's like the worst snack ever. My favorite sugar snack is expletive deleted. James Maynard Moreland. Okay. Well, I'm not sure you did that or whether YouTube did that, but hey, you know what? Everybody's got theirs that they like, I suppose. But yeah, Skittles was mine, and it actually, when I cut it out, my body would like actually, I would be walking down the aisle and I saw Skittles, and my stomach acid would start to hurt. I used to clump all of the Skittles together and eat them at once. Yeah. I love it, James. No, man, you go be funny. I love fun. That's right. So I used to clump all of the Skittles together and eat them at once. I am one. Here's the thing about Skittles. I did so many things. I love to do them with Dr. Pepper. Um, and here's another. When you get the Coca-Cola machines, here's a magic one for you. If you like Skittles, get Sprite and get a shot of grape in that Sprite. When you go to the soda machine, it's a liquid Skittles. It's lemon, lime, and grape all together. It is like perfect. It is like amazing. All right. But for me, I got diagnosed in 2023 with diabetes, which is kind of the impetus of why we do our channel, to help people. But here's the thing: what I learned in the midst of all that was what that was doing to my body, because I um, I was dealing with acid reflux during all that time too. So I had GERD, and if you're familiar with that, that is just like I had it for 20 years. Still dealing with some of that, but I know sugar is a huge part of that. And I'm in a number of different groups, and as a nutrition coach, that's a huge thing. But look, food is everywhere. So if you missed my live earlier, I had Megan Hemphill on, who is a nutrition coach that specializes in food addiction, sugar addiction, and she talked a lot about this. I'm going to have her on again tomorrow, I think, but it's going to be recorded. It's actually on my page. So if you missed it, would like to learn more about it, that's an incredible lesson about how our bodies are addicted. We are surrounded by food and sugar, and it makes it so very hard to deal with. And so that's one big thing. That's kind of the impetus of why on February 1 you'll be seeing that on our page a lot, is our sugar detox challenge. So trying to work on that. The reality of it is we have a total food system that has screwed us up in so many ways. It is so frustrating. It is so frustrating that everything that we get thrown at us, even to the point that we see stuff like this that's sugar free, and the very first ingredient is polyglycitol syrup. So we're saying it's sugar free, but yet we're giving people sugar. So if you're a diabetic, if you're dealing with insulin resistance, this is the false advertising that is allowed to go on within our country. So we allow this. The USDA, for all that it does, gets onto this right here. All right. And it leads to so many of the problems that we have. So welcome in, guys. I'm Coach Ken. I'm up in Anchorage, Alaska, and we are focusing on life. And right now, we're looking at those sugar snacks. What is your favorite sugar snack that you have? Put it in the comment. Just add, put it in there. If I don't have it up there, go ahead and put it in the comment section. Would love to hear what it is that is your go-to when it comes to those issues, when it comes to eating every single day. And we're dealing with so many things when it comes to how we eat, what we do, that we need to be paying attention to exactly what's going on in our body. So let me pull up real quick what is going on, as a matter of fact, and what's the reality of this. So this was me and Dr. G, all right, when we were diagnosed with diabetes. This was us right up here. And I always say this: I listened to my wife and it saved my life. I listened to my wife and it saved my life. It's not just a marriage advice thing, it's the reality. I listened to my wife and it saved my life. She was the one that we were both diagnosed within a month of each other with diabetes. Diabetes. We got Wilford Brimley. We got diabetes, right? So, and it wasn't, it's not a joke by any stretch of the imagination, but here's the joke part about it. For me, nobody in my family had ever been diagnosed with diabetes. Not a single person in my family that we are aware of ever had diabetes. So there's this whole load of crap that says, it runs in the family. It's a genetic thing. No, it's not. It's a what you put in your pie hole thing. That's why this is so important, because what you put in here, diabetes, is a dietary issue, is a dietary disease, and it leads to so much. And when we don't understand what it is, which I didn't, and my wife is a doctor, a dentist actually, and they didn't take any nutrition in school. But here's what she told me. This is the crazy part about it. When she was a dentist, when she was going through medical school, little piece of trivia, dentists spend time in medical school before they become their specialty. Did you know that type 2 diabetes used to be called sugar diabetes? Why do you think they took that away? We kind of know the cause. It's right there in the name, sugar diabetes. But they took that away and called us type 2. And so now what do? We get meds. We get all kinds of meds for all of this. And that's the approach of it. It goes everything gets to fall into germ theory where we medicate everything. And they were giving Dr. G, they wanted to give her 4 medications when she was diagnosed with prediabetes. For some reason, for mine, they passed that up completely. They just said, go eat less and move more and let's see what happens. I guess I was an experiment or something. I don't get it. I don't get it. But it really kind of pissed me off. It pissed her off. She got on the phone and started calling around, and she called a friend who was a nurse and a diabetes educator that said, guess what, doc? There is a natural protocol that you can get. It's in your provider's digital reference. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We said, whoa, okay. So she started to do this protocol. She started to address this protocol in her life. Look, I was sitting there as a guy. All right, let's get real honest here, guys. You're dealing with low testosterone. You're dealing with ED, erectile dysfunction. Get over yourself. You think here's the thing. Listening to Lindsey Venn, specialist in insulin, you realize that when you're taking those testosterone shots, you are basically what would be the word I would look for? You're like cutting yourself off, if you will. Because what's going to happen is you start taking those testosterone shots, your body's not going to be producing testosterone. And what Lindsey Venn and those in metabolic health are addressing is the fact that you are insulin resistance, which is one of the leading reasons why you're dealing with low testosterone. All right, ladies, you're dealing with a guy that's got ED, all right, or less low testosterone. I'm a testicular cancer survivor. So keep that in mind. I was dealing with low testosterone until I addressed insulin resistance. All right. So when this change happened right here to this guy right here, Dr. G will tell you, I don't have a problem with low testosterone. I do not have a problem with low testosterone. At 54, I feel more like I'm 24 in a lot of ways. All right. Besides the fact that I lost the weight, I have the energy, I have the stamina, I have those things that I didn't have simply because I learned what was going on. I listened to my wife and it saved my life. I will say that again and again. I felt like crap. And you're a guy, the dad bod is not something to be looking forward to. All right? That's where that was right there. What you look down and you cannot see your feet, or nor can you see something else, right? Let's just call it what it is, guys. All right? You've got a dad bod and your stomach is out so far you can't even see your pickle. Come on. Really? You're worried about seeing your feet. You can't even see your pickle. I get it. Just deal with it, all right? Why don't you address it? Why don't you address it? And if you know somebody and you love somebody, then this is important for them. This is information you need to know. As a nutrition coach, married to a doctor, I listened to my wife. It saved my life. It set me down on a path that helped me to heal. So if you've got questions here, this is the reality. I'm going to get brass tacks about your health. That's what this is all about. This is about you. I've done my journey, and now it's about helping other people. All right, Dr. G and I do this, and I come on here to be there and to help other people and to help others understand we are a sick world. Did you realize that 93% of us are metabolically unhealthy? And we don't even know it. 93% of our world, us, are metabolically unhealthy. We don't even know it. We talk about metabolic syndrome. Our doctors talk about it. High triglycerides, low HDL, high waist circumference, high blood pressure, high blood sugar. All of that is metabolic syndrome. And 93% of us are metabolically unhealthy. What is metabolism? What our body does with what we eat and drink. It's a dietary issue. It is what we're putting in our pie hole, folks. And look, I'm a redneck from down south. My wife is from New Orleans. We do not eat crappy food. Crappy food is not welcome in our home. It is not welcome on our table. We don't want it anywhere. We don't tolerate bad, crappy diets. It's not going to work in my house. So I don't coach people to do weird, crappy diets. What I coach is a healthy lifestyle, is a lifestyle that makes all the difference in the world, right? And we're going to be doing a starting sugar detox. Guys, welcome in. I'm Coach Ken. I'm up in Anchorage, Alaska. It is a balmy 13 degrees with, I think, about another 6 inches of snow on the ground that I'm going to have to go out and do, which is why I'm glad that I'm drinking my Unimate today, because now I'm going to have energy to go out and go do that work. So here's the thing when I'm talking about what did we learn on the journey to our health? What did we learn? Well, ultimately, here's the thing that we learned was there's a bigger issue that's going on in our world called insulin resistance. And so when I talk about these things like obesity and issues like that, we're talking about things that are at the root cause of some of the biggest issues dealing with in our world. Diabetes being one of them, but we're also dealing with things like heart disease, heart attacks, all right? Cardiovascular disease, obesity. Maybe you're dealing with migraines. We're talking about things that are bringing us pain, PCOS in women, cancer, all right? These are all leading issues that have impacted our lives. Alzheimer's, type 3 diabetes, right? This is Wilbur Brimley. I got a message to you about diabetes. I have a message to you about insulin resistance, because what's happening is these are the things that your body is quietly whispering about. Skin tags, fatty liver. All of these are the things that our body is whispering about. And nobody is talking about. Other than the fact that we go to the store and we get medication, right? Every single one of these, it seems like we can come up with something. Every single one of these is something that we can medicate for. It sure seems that way, right? It sure seems that way. Every time we go to the store, every time we go see the doctor, all right, it's going to be another pill for every single ill that we have. There's a pill for every single ill that we have. The average U.S. American is on 4 to 8 pills. And here's the thing. I'm going to ask you guys that are here. We have something in your bathroom. It's a mirror on a hinge. What do we call that? If you know what that is, type in the comment. We have a mirror on a hinge. What do we call that? What do we call that mirror on a hinge? It's a medicine cabinet. It's a medicine cabinet. We build it into our homes. We build them into our homes. Those medicine cabinets, we build those into our homes. And we make it so that all the medicine is just what we do every single day. We don't question it. We just do it. We think it's the easiest thing in the world, and yet we keep getting sicker and sicker and sicker. More and more often, we're dealing with these issues, and we're not coming to a solution. There's not a solution to them. Their medications are simply covering it over. The medications are simply covering it over, not ever addressing the issue. And here's the thing. So why is that important? Well, if we go back and we look at this, so what did we just do? We came up with, let's see if I can switch this real quick. I'm going to drop off of, we have the new food pyramid, right? I call it a food funnel. Our old food pyramid made us look like the food pyramid. We were wide at the bottom and skinny at the top. The idea in the new food funnel is what I call it, is we focus on proteins, and we focus on those fruits. We focus on our fiber, right? We focus on fiber, proteins, and fats. All right, we do that, we start to change everything when it comes to how our bodies are handling our health. I'm sorry, my throat is all messed up today. It's all messed up today. So, guys, I'm Coach Ken. I'm up in Anchorage, Alaska. Talking about health, talking about sugar. We're talking about getting ourselves healthy, and how do we deal with that, and what solutions do we have? Where are you coming in from? As y'all are coming in the room, where are you coming in from? Would love to hear that. Where are y'all coming in from? I am Ken. I am up in Anchorage, Alaska today. Got some things to take care of. as we start the day, but would love to hear where folks are coming in from. Where do you call home? What's the weather like? If you're down, if you were in the path of recent storms in the lower 48, what was going on? What are you dealing with um, today? How's it going this morning? I'm Coach Ken. I'm up in Anchorage, Alaska. And where are you coming in from today? Good morning. How are you? Where are you guys coming in from? Good morning. How are you? If you get a minute, take a second. Just love to hear what are the favorite sugar snacks. We're going to be starting a sugar detox here February 1. So, and if you missed my call earlier, we had a great live with Megan Hempel, who specializes in sugar addictions, and she actually I was just messaging her, by the way. So, kind of fun the way that works. Good morning. How y'all doing? Hope you're having an awesome one. Let's see. Only candy bars. That was the only one. Everybody favorite sugar snack was candy bar. So there we go. We had that one today. Let's see. I don't like that. We need to have something better than that. Let's get a different sticker. Let's try a new poll today. All right. I will put these up here. We'll do Red Bull, soda. And let's do Gatorade or sports drink. There we go. Let's switch that one up. Done. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you this morning. Let's start the new poll and we'll get going here. All right. Let's do this as we get going. All right. Oh, where'd it go? There we go. There we go. I don't want to lose that. There we are. All right. What is it that's in there? So back in 2023, I got diagnosed along with Dr. G with diabetes, right? So we got diagnosed with diabetes. And for me, the doctors told me, hey, just you need to eat less and move more. How many of y'all have heard that? If you've heard that from your doctor, just eat less, move more, type that yes in the comment. If you haven't heard that, type no. Or you've done crazy diets because that's what they told me. Dr. G, on the other hand, got her a little fired up because they really ignored the whole fact that she was a provider. And she said, no, no, no. They gave her 4 meds. She said, hell no. She got on the phone, called a friend of hers who was a nurse and a diabetes educator because she knew that there's something more going on there. Diabetes is not a chronic disease that you catch from anybody. You get it because of what's happening here in the mouth. So we've got to heal at the cellular level. And we got there because our metabolism was screwed up because we didn't focus on what we needed to focus on. So she got on the phone, called a friend who was a nurse and a diabetes educator, and told her about this product. And they said, look, go to the digital reference, go to the provider's digital reference, pdr.net, you're going to find this product. So that's what she did. She got on there. She started taking this. I started to see the changes that were going on in her life. So a couple months later, she reversed fibromyalgia, neuropathy. She started losing weight. She started getting energy. And I was like, all right. So I listened to my wife, right? Smart man that I am. Sometimes I'm not, but smart man that I am. I listened to my wife and it saved my life. So if you're not listening to your wife, at least listen to my wife. The Feel Great system was a game changer. I started doing this, started drinking the tea and the fiber May 1 of 2024. And within 4 months, I went from being this guy basically to this guy, and I've held that throughout this time. I went from 200 pounds down to 150. All right. My blood pressure went from 145 over 93 down to 120 over 82. All right. I sit there and I reversed my type 2 diabetes. No more migraines. Acid reflux has almost completely subsided. I have got my life back. I went from a size large XL down to a size medium again. I went from a size 35, 36 back down to a size 30. I'm wearing the same size clothes that I had when I was in high school, when I graduated college, right? That's the changes that happened for me. My food allergies, gone. I don't have to take medications all the time anymore. I'm not dependent on that anymore. Dr. G isn't either. And so we said, we got to make some changes. We got to tell people about this. We got to tell people about this. So you may be dealing with some of those issues that we were dealing with, and I don't know. Let me see if I can do. Maybe this would be helpful to take a look at. If it is, if not, I'm going to throw this up here on the screen. Maybe these are some of the things that you are dealing with. I'm going to drop my little poll over here. And not everybody is, but maybe you recognize some of these that you're dealing with, or somebody you know is dealing with, that these chronic issues are showing up. Low testosterone in men, we got to get our head out of our hole, right? And realize that and tell people erectile dysfunction are not issues that we've been made to think that we need the little blue pill or anything else. What we need is to address the levels of insulin on our body, to learn how to eat correctly and to do things. And the way that we found the best to do that was with the Feel Great system, and drinking this and making it part of our lives to help manage our blood sugar levels, was to make those changes. And to do that along with intermittent fasting and basically time-based eating, and eating in the right order, eating the right foods. And when we do that, it changes everything. So what is this? When you hear about the Feel Great system, what is this? It is yerba mate. If you've never heard of yerba mate is a tea that has been in Brazil, Peru, South America for centuries. People have been drinking yerba mate for centuries. The tea here, you don't have to brew this. You can drink this hot, you can drink this cold, you can drink it lukewarm. All right, just drink it. That's the thing, is you just drink it. You sip on this through the course of the day, and that's going to help with a number of things. It's going to knock out your food cravings. It's going to help with energy, with theobromine, which gives you that same energy that you get when you get dark chocolate, that nice steady energy. So it's actually one of the best energy drinks on the planet. It also won't keep you, typically it doesn't keep you up at night. The caffeine, we have a caffeine-free version of it, but the caffeine is so minimal and it's all natural. It's not the processed stuff that shows up. It is a natural caffeine that we get. All right. It gives you that naturally energy boost. It helps to regulate your blood pressure. It also works like metformin. The studies have shown over and over again the chlorogenic acid in here works like metformin, and it stimulates your body's own GLP-1 rather than being on and having to use medication. So we sip on this through the course of the day, and then before our meals, what we do is we drink fiber. We take a fiber matrix of 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers. So if you're dealing with something like metformin, maybe you're on a metformin, maybe you're on a statin medication, and your doctor hasn't explained anything to you. They typically don't. They didn't to me. They didn't explain any of that to me, which is why I'm here. So what the matrix does of the fiber is we make sure it slows down blood glucose. In nature, here's the crazy part. In nature, everything that has glucose or has sugar or fructose comes packaged in fiber. Think about bread. The wheat is packaged in fiber. Rice is packaged in a bran. Apples are packaged in pectin. That's the peel. All right, that is fiber. When we chew that up, when we masticate that, that helps to break down and slows the digestion of sugar. Well, all that's been taken out of our food. When we start to drink all of this stuff right here, right, all these things, liquid carbohydrates, those are absorbed as sugar right into our bodies. Our blood sugar spikes and our insulin increases to try to take care of that. You could be insulin resistant for 10 or 15 years before anybody said anything. You want to talk about pissing me off? Nobody said anything about that. Nobody said anything about that. So we do the tea and the fiber, right? And so I never had to get on metformin. I never had to get on a statin. I lowered my triglyceride levels by drinking the fiber, and it changed everything. These are in the PDR.net. Now, that may not seem like much to you, that you may not even know what the PDR is. The PDR is the very same book where your doctors go to do all prescription writing, right? When the doctor goes to write a prescription, they look in this book right here, or they go to the website, the PDR.net. This is where Dr. G would go to, my wife, when she would write prescriptions, and when she still does, she goes here to make sure there's no interactions with the medications, all right, to find out if there's any warnings, side effects, all of those kind of things. So she went there and found that these products were in the PDR.net, which is why we started doing that. We combined that with the intermittent fasting. And we learned that prioritizing fiber is a huge part of this. Now, this is HSA certified, it's qualified as a nutraceutical, it is measured. You don't have to guess at what it's going to cost, which is pretty awesome. We don't have to guess about this at all. We know exactly. The measurements are all right here. It's even got it on there, how much is in there. And that's how it's been studied. It's gone through the study that have been done at the Cleveland Clinic. Thank you for the likes at the University of Sydney, all right, at the Cleveland Clinic, all right. That's arguably the #1 heart hospital in the world. Their research showed that this fiber, if taken regularly and on a population basis, it could reduce the need for lipid-lowering medications, your statin medication. So how many of y'all have somebody that deals with heart disease in your family? If you know somebody, heart disease affected you, type 1 in the comment. If you know somebody that heart disease has impacted you or your lives, type a 1 in the comment. Maybe you've got high blood pressure. Maybe the triglycerides are really high. You've got high LDL, low HDL. Those things are hitting you. Heart disease is still the #1 killer in the world. The #1 killer. And by addressing the real science behind this, we're looking at how, look, God created a world with what we need in it when we learn how to eat correctly. The food that we have, this stuff right here. Thank y'all so much for jumping in on the poll. I appreciate it. I'm Coach Ken. I'm up in Anchorage, Alaska. Let me know where you're coming in from. So when we look at this, we glance here, we look at it, these processed carbs spiking our blood sugar, increasing our insulin levels, leading to that addiction to our sugars, all right, leading to the problem. So the tea and the fiber help to work to manage all of that. The metformin that you might be on can cause a B12 deficiency. And that leads to neuropathy. That was something that my wife, Dr. G, struggled with, was that issue that was going on all the time, was not addressing the fact that that neuropathy, that pain that she was having, was a B12 deficiency. The medications that we take, that doctors give, if you go to the PDR.net, you will find that metformin causes a deficiency in B12. We can't afford to have a deficiency in B12. We can't. We can't. That's leading to the pain. That's contributing to the inflammation. That's what the fiber had. This is a B complex vitamin. She reversed her neuropathy and fibromyalgia by doing this. All right. For me, my migraines stopped within the first week. My doctors never told me, with all of the Botox and crap, you can see the wrinkles. That really helped, right? But here's the thing. When you increase your fiber by 10 grams, you lower your chances of migraines by 11%. There's a freebie right there. There's a freebie right there when it comes to your health overall, all right, is that, guess what? You lower your chances of migraines. You increase your soluble fiber by 5 grams, you're going to lower your struggles with systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Dealing with anxiety and depression, I've been there too. 5 grams of fiber brings that down, because in your gut is where serotonin is made. That feel-good hormone, that's made in your gut. It's not made up here. It's made in your gut. And when we feed our good microbiome, it changes what's going on in our bodies. All right, that improves our overall health. And that is huge. Thank you so very much for the likes. I'm Coach Ken. Let me know where you're coming in from. I'm up in Anchorage, Alaska today. It's good to have you here. I'm so glad that you guys are here today. All right, so what we do is we combine this with an intermittent fasting schedule. All right, why is that important? Well, it takes 4 hours for blood sugar to come back down. It takes about 10 to 12 hours for insulin levels to get back down and level that out. So when we do intermittent fasting, it's not as intimidating as it sounds. I know. It's like, ooh, okay. No. First of all, we're going to cut out snacking. All right. That's one of the reasons we're talking about these right here and thinking and looking at, we're doing a sugar detox, and we're going to do it with you. All right. We need it too. We need it too. We're not perfect. Sugar kind of sneaks in there, right? It's easy for sugar to sneak into our bodies. It sneaks into our diet. We get those cravings, the Doritos, you're at the office, there's the donut, there's the bagels. Y'all order pizza. Had pizza this last week. Man, it screwed me up kind of bad. Uh, we're going to get too personal, right? But those carbohydrates, because breads, rice, pastas, corn, potatoes, that is converted into sugar in our mouths. The salivary amylase, your saliva, breaks down carbs in the mouth into simple sugars. Bam. All right, that's why you're dealing with periodontal disease. You're dealing with the cavities. All right, that's an infection. All right, that's going to disrupt the mouth microbiome and the stomach microbiome. They are connected. All right, they are bidirectional. So we got to keep that in mind. And what happens here affects what's happening down here. What's happening down here will affect up here. I know it's the craziest thing in the world, but you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I believe that. All right. So here's the thing. So what we want to do is we want to start a routine. All right. We develop a lifestyle. No snacking. We're going to cut that out. When we have those cravings, we drink the tea. This knocks out food cravings. The yerba mate and the chlorogenic acid. This is all in the science. You can look this up. PubMed. This increases your body's natural GLP-1. How many of y'all have heard of GLP-1? Type yes if you've never heard of GLP-1. Type no. All right, type yes if you've heard of GLP-1, glucagon-like peptide. If you've never heard of it, tell me no. It's totally fine. There's so many people that haven't. I recognize that. But maybe you've heard of Ozempic, Mounjaro, Wegovy, semaglutide. All right, those are resistant agonist. All right, GLP-1 resistant agonist. Now, those are mimicking your body's natural GLP-1. That is a catabolic hormone that signals to your brain that you're full. It is the most powerful one that does that. So when we sip on this, what we're doing is we're not faking it. We're teaching our body make more of it. So I drink this. I'm drinking it right now, as a matter of fact. The flavor I'm drinking is raspberry pomegranate. And there's a number of different flavors. We have a new flavor that is it milk chocolate or mint chocolate brownie. I haven't gotten any of that yet, but I'm going to be ordering that. I'm looking forward to it, to trying that out. So we drink that, we do that. It makes intermittent fasting so much easier. How many of y'all have done intermittent fasting? Type yes. If you've never done it, type no. It's really just going to 2 meals a day is what I like to tell people. So if we stop eating around 8 o'clock at night, we don't eat again until 8 o'clock the next day, you just did a 12-hour fast, right? So what we want to do then is to delay that a little bit. So we sip on the tea. You don't have to brew anything. The great part about it, you can drink it hot or cold. It's already measured out for you. You just open up the packet and you pour it in here. Now, once we start on that, that helps you just sip on it. You don't chug that, you don't down it, all right? You just sip on it. And what we start to see happen is our body increases their human growth hormones throughout the day. As that's happening, the longer you extend your fast, you get to autophagy, where our body begins to recycle our dying cells. We start to get healthier, we start to get whole. Our stem cells, the longer we get, once we hit 16 hours, we hit that autophagy, and the longer we do that, our body stimulates the growth of stem cells and healing. That's why you kind of see us, if you see our picture, we started to age in reverse, right? So a lot of people look at it, they say, we look like we're younger, all right? Because we feel like we're younger. We actually are getting closer. I'm closer to the size that where I was when I was in high school, right? Right when I graduated college. That's where I'm at. I'm a size medium and a size 30. So that, I mean, it's pretty cool to sit there and be that. The dad bod, right? I can look down and I can see my toes, right? And here's the thing, thank you, all right? But here's the thing, the dad bod is not something to be proud of, guys. I always people here. I'm gonna get personal. So people will go, you're having problems when you look down and you can't see your toes. Look, as a guy, it's not about the toes. It's the pickle, right? You look down and you can't see the pickle? Come on. That doesn't, guys, really? That's what we're really thinking. And when you're that size, when you're at that point, so intermittent fasting is so much easier to do than calorie restriction. It is such an easier thing to do. And when you do intermittent fasting, here's the crazy part about it. You bring down your insulin levels, and when you bring down your insulin levels, your cells in your body, they go, those fat cells, when insulin is low, the fat will go. They go, you like my sound effects? If you like the sound effects, type yes, right? So when we do that, because that Dr. Ben Bickman at Brigham Young University, if you've never ever listened to him, you need to go listen to some of his stuff. I've got one of his videos posted. I got to hear him speak. He writes a book called Why We Get Sick, and he studies fat cells, right? He studies them, he grows them, and how he grows them is making sure that insulin is there. When he doesn't want them, when he wants them to shrink, they go. That was a different one. That was a different sound, wasn't it? It is a little bit different. So I'm trying to see. I can't see if I'm getting comments or not. If you guys would somebody just post something in there, say hi or something, let me know. I've got the poll is like stuck, and I hate to see if I'm missing something. I've only been on the YouTube. I've jumped over from TikTok a couple weeks ago, so I'm still kind of getting used to this one. Drew, thank you so very much. I was sitting there worried that it got stuck. I thank you. Thank you very much. I know that I'm not stuck now. Awesome. So when you break a fast, though, is as important as doing the fast, getting the benefits. So, and this is key, is learning how to eat correctly. This is why you can eat, when you learn to eat correctly, the things that you like to eat. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a redneck from down south. I may be in Alaska now, but I like my fried chicken, my fried catfish. And if you get between me and my mama's banana pudding, I'm going to open a can of whoop ass on somebody. All right. If you get between me and my wife's king cake, because she's from New Orleans, this woman can cook the lights out of anybody else. Her late father had a gumbo recipe that was award winning. We have a recipe book. It's actually on Amazon. We took a recipe book that he did. It's actually, I need to kind of promote that. We should promote more of that, right? But it's all Cajun, Louisiana. It's so good. I don't want you to eat like crap. Eating is more fun than that, right? We like it. We're surrounded by it. We want to enjoy it. But what we need to do is learn to eat correctly. Fiber, fats, proteins. 30, 60, 90. We learn to eat correctly. It's called meal sequencing or meal order. When you eat fibers, vegetables, and fruit, you bring down your blood sugar spikes. Fiber is the carbohydrate that helps to control blood glucose levels. This is why we drink the Feel Great system. We drink the Balance, because this fiber is a blend of 7 different soluble and insoluble fibers. All fibers that we actually have eaten for 1,000 years. Metamucil psyllium husk, human beings never eat that. We don't eat psyllium husk. I mean, it sounds disgusting in and of itself, right? It sounds like psyllium husk. You're eating the husk. It's disgusting. And that's pretty much what it tastes like. This, however, is super easy to do, and it tastes good. I mix this in Greek yogurt. I drink it in my water right before my meals. I put it into protein shakes. I'll mix it with a vanilla and do a fiber protein shake for a meal. I'm getting my fiber and my protein all together, because this is all plant fibers in a concentrated medical grade form. That's what this is. And it's been studied at the Cleveland Clinic, arguably the #1 heart hospital, to work like a statin medication. It was studied at the University of Sydney, home of the glycemic index, the people that studied blood sugar spikes. This right here brings down your postprandial glucose spike between 28 and 40%. That is greater than metformin, the #1 medication given to pre-diabetics and diabetics, right? This is better than it. And all it is drinking it right when you have a meal. So we delay when we eat. So we eat in a 16 We fast for about 16 to 18 hours, and then I recommend eating between in an 8 or 6 hour window. For me personally, I usually eat 2 meals in that 6 hour window. Um, I have seizures. I was told that my three medications contribute to my weight problem. What do you think? Hey, Sean. Well, I cannot give medical advice. That's not my place, and Dr. G can't either. Um, um, so, um, so when you say you're having a medical problem, one of the things that a lot of times intermittent fasting oftentimes has been known to help with seizures, as well. And as far as the medications, it absolutely could be. That absolutely could be. Here's the thing about the Feel Great system, is um, let me show you. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. So Dr. G, I'm still part of her presentation, because she does this better than anybody. And talking about pharmaceuticals and pharmaloop. So I'm sharing the wisdom and the knowledge, but I'm not a doctor. So I'm a nutrition coach, but not the doctor. But medications interact with each other. The great part about the tea and the fiber, this is all natural. It's in the PDR.net. Your doctor could look at this as well. There's not any contraindications because this is plant foods. So this actually you can take even if you're on medications. And I actually started it when I did. So let me show you. I'm going to flip my screen around. I'm going to have to pull this off real quick. Let me take off the green screen and let me flip my camera around so I can show you. So this is what a pharma loop looks like. Is we start on one medication. Typically, when it relates to diabetes, that's the one we primarily talk about. But there's lots of them. So for seizures, it could definitely be the same. All right. It'll be different medications, but you start on a statin medication. Now, statins, of course, come with a multitude of side effects. Let me see if I can pull up. So, statin medications impairs the mitochondria, disrupts insulin signaling, raises blood sugar, hormone disruption, muscle pain. Well, you look right there at this one here that you're going to raise your blood sugar. Well, guess what comes next? Your blood sugar is too high. You get metformin for prediabetes. Then your high blood pressure, neuropathy, pain. So now you're having to take gabapentin because what does metformin do? It strips your body of B12. That leads to neuropathy. All of these medications start to disrupt your gut and acid reflux can begin. You are on these medications, you're dealing with this. Now your gut is all disrupted. And where is serotonin made? It's made in your gut. You start on depression and anxiety medications. All right. Cardiac arrhythmia comes as we go through this journey. Now, for me, I actually started here. The doctor put me on metropolol. I was on it for 15 years. And these three were where my pharma loop began before I was diagnosed with diabetes. So, what was coming for me would be this one, and then this one, and then I was actually starting to deal with neuropathy. But then it leads to Ozempic and Mounjaro. So it definitely is one of those things that the medications that you're on can cause so many problems. And when we start to deal with how we're living and what we're doing, it makes all the difference in our world. So living a lifestyle that is healthier is what we coach. We coach the Feel Great system because it is such a simple way to change that lifestyle, to reinforce and support meal order and intermittent fasting, and to see the full benefits of this, and to look into how it really and truly begins to help us, right? So we then are going to be eating, going back to intermittent fasting, and when we eat, we break that fast with focusing on fiber, proteins, and fats, heavy on those proteins. And that works for seizures as well too. We want to get good protein. The amino acids and building blocks of our body are there. All right. I tell people 30, 60, 90, 30 grams of fiber, 60 grams of fat, 90 grams of protein, a minimum. Now, for me, when I was looking to lose the weight that I needed to lose and I was 200 pounds, what I started doing was focusing on about 1 gram of protein per my goal weight. So I ate more protein and lost the weight because I was then full longer after I eat. I didn't feel the need to snack. I drank the tea every single time. And when I was drinking the tea, I wasn't dealing with the hunger cravings the whole time. As long as I was drinking the tea, it was knocking out the hunger cravings because my GLP-1 increased. Here's the thing about GLP-1. If you're in here, if you hear about Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, GLP-1 is made in your body. Your doctor is not explaining that. It is not a medication. GLP-1 is a hormone. When we start disrupting hormones for no reason, we disrupt so much in our body. That's one of the reasons why so many people are experiencing side effects. All right? Go do the science. And I can show that to you as well, if that would be helpful. Our bodies are making GLP-1 all the time. When we eat foods and when we're eating the right foods, our bodies make GLP-1. So when we're eating in the correct order, all right here, we do fiber, proteins, and healthy fats. The food comes into our gut. Your stomach is more like a bag than it is a blender. All right, your GLP-1 is going to be made in the small intestines. Your pancreas is going to make the insulin. All right, GLP-1 is a catabolic hormone, and that secretion signals to the brain that you're full. All right, here's what we have as a problem. When we go to eating our standard American diet, we typically start with carbs. Think about this. When you go to McDonald's, what's the first thing you pull out of the bag to eat? And we start drinking right here. We start drinking that Coke. We start eating the fries, right? Right? That's what we start doing. Absolutely. It is absolutely what we start doing. So we start with carbs. Well, when that hits our gut, that hits the small intestines, forget making GLP-1. The pancreas is fired up because that sugar in your mouth. All right, I'll go back to another slide. I'm jumping around here a little bit. All right, here's the crazy part about it. So this is from my wife. All right, when you eat this food, all right, those carbs become sugar in the mouth. That's what your saliva does. It breaks it down. That creates the plaque. The elevated cytokines and the white blood cells come to fight the infection, leads to the inflammation, and the bacteria disrupts our insulin pathways. That's going to increase our blood sugar, and we get hungry again. I know, it's crazy how connected all of this is. So when we're eating like this here, we fired up the insulin. So that insulin increase, we got these high glucose levels, and this right here is disrupting your GLP-1. This is why we're getting hungry all the time. We have disrupted our insulin pathways. All right, spiking our blood sugar. So when we look right here, carbohydrates cause an insulin response greater than proteins and fats. So when we start our meal eating all of that and we consume that all the time, we are leading to this pattern here all the time. We do this high carb diet. The insulin is released from the pancreas. The cells become resistant to too much insulin, just like we do with antibiotics. Our body becomes resistant to it. The sugar stored in the fats is released into the blood. All right, now we start to feel hungry and tired, and we're crashing again. And what do we crave? We crave more sugar. We crave more high carb diets. We're going for the sodas. We're going for the burgers. We're going for the fries. And keep in mind, every single time they start talking about carnivore diets. Now, I'm not a carnivore person. I'm not against it as a nutrition coach. It works for people. But they say, oh, it increases everything. Like, okay, stop demonizing the meat when you put on there ketchup and mustard and mayonnaise and you ate a giant bun. And if you had a Big Mac, how much bread did you have in there? Because breads, rice, pastas, and corn are carbohydrates. They're spiking your blood sugar. That increases the insulin, and that is leading to this problem that we keep having. So the reason that we started doing this for Dr. G and I, we started doing this, and we do our coaching with the Feel Great system, what I've been talking about. This helps with lowering those food cravings, stimulating your body's GLP-1 to feel full longer. to burn the fat for fuel, not to release the sugar. All right. And then to control those blood sugar levels, we make sure we have fiber. We supplement because it's so much easier in the course of a day. Look, I'm on the go. How many of y'all you're getting ready to go to work today? More morning food is so much money to buy at the grocery store. Morning food. Are you talking like breakfast food, like cereal and stuff? Good morning food is so much money to buy at the and it's learning to eat. The more we learn to eat whole foods, it actually starts to get cheaper. You know, the thing about it is, this is where we get mixed up, right? Is because we buy the cheap food because we're saving money, but how much are we spending on healthcare? And I'm talking about starting at the beginning. We have a premium to pay every month before we spend a dime on that. But everything is related to what goes in here. So the better stuff we put in here, the better we feel here. And here's the thing. What I've learned, Jesus, is we look at the research and find is that at the beginning of the month at the grocery store, when SNAP cards come out in the US, those benefits to help people, they move everything to the front of the store that's in a bag and a box and a bottle with a barcode that's spiking our blood sugar levels. All food, milk so expensive. It's like I know, right? It's gotten so crazy. It's gotten so crazy in so many ways. Um, and here's the thing, I asked a buddy of mine this last week that was looking at the Feel Great system, and he asked me about this. He said, I appreciate what you're doing in the coaching. He said, but man, it seems like it's expensive. I said, really? I said, how much do you spend on a soda? How much do you spend on a soda during the day? He said, I spend about $2.50 when I go to the Superette. I said, this packet right here, this is $1.74 of the best drink on the planet for your health. And you can mix it into about 40 ounces of water. With the soda, you get 16 ounces for $2.50. All right. So it's learning what is it that we can do. The more that we focus on finding of course, better deals, right? But also focusing on your health and investing in your health, you actually start to I work at the grocery store, so you see it. You see it all the time. You see it more than most of us do. And those of us on the other side of the buying of stuff, it's crazy. It's one of the reasons we've got our own chickens and we do our own eggs. Here in Alaska, it's a huge issue because the food that we get off season, it has to travel up here. A lot of times it's not as good. It doesn't last as long. So the more that we focus on learning how to eat correctly, eat the right things, the better off we are for our health. We actually start to save money. Since we started living this way, Dr. G, we actually save about $500 a month by doing intermittent fasting. All right, we are saving every month when it comes to what we eat, because the average U.S. American spends between around $20 a day in fast food and things in bags and boxes and bottles with barcodes. All right, so that is a huge, huge impact on our budget. May white Mormon Jesus bless you. Meow. Well, thank you so much. And I'm curious, who is the white Mormon Jesus? That's an interesting one to throw out to me. But well, thank you for that. I will take the blessing that you have given. I will take the blessing that you have given. Broadleaf, good to see you. Glad that you're here, and thank y'all for the laughs. I will take the blessing. I always like to be blessed. And I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I don't want to go. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to be mean. That's. I like to have my lives to be a safe space. Where are you guys coming in from? So I've been talking about this, and like I said, as we come, you're welcome. I wish you good health too. I hope that this is helpful for your health as well. So if you're interested in the Feel Great system and our coaching, we're going to be starting a 2-week 14-day sugar detox starting on February 1. If you are interested in the Feel Great system, if this has resonated with you, I said we save about $500 a month now because of intermittent fasting, meal sequencing, because we feel full longer. All right, our body's storing fat. We tap into that by drinking the tea and the fiber that I talked about. It makes all the difference in the world. So I'm gonna pull up real quick, if you're interested, if you haven't subscribed, all right. So you guys kind of know what I'm talking about here. This was me and Dr. G. If you're just coming in, when we were diagnosed with diabetes. I'm Wilford Brimley. I need a bigger beard, right? uh, and I have a message about diabetes. I have a message about insulin resistance because we were diagnosed with diabetes, which is insulin resistance on steroids, basically. Here's the thing: we changed our habits and we changed our life. And the Feel Great system was key to that. Learning how to eat correctly, learning how to coach people, learning how to live the lifestyle that is not only affordable, but one that actually is sustainable consistently. So if you're interested, you can message me over here on WhatsApp. All right. Is this the right channel? Aussie Sassy Bro. I don't know. What channel are you looking for, Aussie Sassy Bro? You tell me. What are you looking for today? If you're looking for health and wholeness, that's what we do here, and hopefully we have a little bit of fun doing it. But if you're interested in the Feel Great system, that is my link tree. All right, Coach Ken, I'm up in Anchorage, Alaska. All right, and how to order the Feel Great system. When you click on that button, the very first link will take you to the tea and the fiber protocol. All right, when you order it, you get 60 of the teas, you get 30 of the fibers. All right, and we will coach. Are there any girls joining? Joining where? A little bit more specific. I believe we've had some ladies that have come through today, but this is not a channel to be hitting people up. So this is all about people getting healthy. So probably not a place that, if you're looking for that, probably not where you want to be. So I like to keep this as a place that's safe for people, that people get to hang out. We get to have real conversations about real health issues. So there's a lot of other places you can go for that. So what I recommend is starting on subscription. You get a 90-day money-back guarantee. This is HSA and FSA qualified as well. So if you have got a plan that you're looking to support and wanting to save money there, if you put that aside, if you have got money still, you still have got time if you're in the US to use that HSA and FSA to help pay for this. As you do that, you get us as coaches. Thanks for the comments and helping to drive up my algorithm. I appreciate that. Here's the thing: you get to change the flavors that you want. Typically, I recommend people start with the lemon as the tea they start with, and then the fiber that comes in both berry and orange. So you get the very best of that. But thank y'all so much for being here. If there's not any more questions, I'm going to have to go. Thank y'all for the conversations today and being here. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you do that. And I'll see you back around on the flip side. Tomorrow, we're going to have Megan Hemphill on again here a little bit earlier. If you didn't get to see that, who is dealing with food addiction and sugar addiction and helping people as we get ready to do our sugar detox. It's going to be awesome. Thank y'all so much for being here. Make sure you check out our videos, and we'll see you back around on the flip side. Go be excellent to each other and go be excellent to yourself.